Good afternoon, folks. Heath here, and I'm making this video to show folks, both in the Cameron School District and anybody that is watching this from anywhere in the United States, how you can find, look for, and identify the content that is in your public school libraries that is sexually explicit. There's a lot of people that are going out finding this type of content, and I often hear folks say, how do I know? How do I find it? Where do I begin? I'm making this video today to try to help. Now, what we're looking at here is a passage in a book. This is in our high school library from the book, The Bluest Eye. And in it, I'm not going to read it to you, but this man impregnates his 11-year-old daughter. And it is wildly explicit. It's disgusting. We can't convince our school district that this content needs to be pulled. It's still in our library. Let me show you how I'm finding this. I am using 3 different sources. The first one is Go Follett. And when you go to the home page, it's going to ask for first your state. There's going to be 3 drop downs here. It's going to ask for your state. I've selected Missouri. It's going to ask for the district. Just start typing the school district name. Here we have the Cameron School District. And from the 3rd bar, you're going to select the school that is within that state in that district. There are 4 schools in Cameron. I selected the Cameron High School. You'll hit go, and it's going to load you into Destiny. And you'll see the name of the school is now shown at the top. You'll use this search engine either for the book title or the book author. When I first started this process, I only searched by book title. And later on, I found out that oftentimes an author that writes very explicit content, if they have more than one book, that content is often in those other books as well. They don't limit it typically just to one book. I highly recommend that once you find a book, search for that author and see if there are other books that are in your library. Now, the first way to start finding a list of these books is just a good old internet search. There are 2 main states that are really going after these books. That is Florida and Texas. I disagree with the word banned here. However, the reality is that the media and newspapers are using that word in their titles. So search for books banned in Florida, books banned in Texas to get you started. If your state, like Missouri does, has a law that prohibits specific content, Missouri has 573.550, you, by searching, can find a list of books that are being pulled from your state to comply with that law. Missouri has a list of books, and I have found about a dozen books in our library that have been banned or pulled from other Missouri schools for being in violation of Missouri Statute 573-550. All right, now compare that book list, the title and the author, to your search engine. Before you get that far into it, though, because like Florida has a list of 400 books that they've challenged, I don't agree with all of them. You need to find where your line is at. And I found a good resource to determine where my line is at, and a resource that I use a lot is booklooks.org. They have a rating system from 0 to 5. And if you go to the rating system, I'd encourage you to read it, familiarize yourself with it, and understand how they rate a book. I did that, and I determined for our high school that I felt that a book that was rated 3, 4, or 5 is content that shouldn't be in the hands of the kid. Generally, that's sexually explicit. It's describing molestation, incest, rape, suicide. Look into it yourself, please. Form your own opinion. But they also have book reports. And when you go into the book reports, they are listed at the top alphabetically by title. And you can compare the list of books to the title, and Book Look will give you They call it book look because you're getting a look inside the book. They give you the page number and they show you the content that is on that page that they deem to be inappropriate. At the bottom of each of these pages, you will often find a profanity count, and that gives you an idea of what type of language is in the book. The very top, it's going to show you the title, a summary of the concerns, and it is also going to give you their rating. Book Look rates The Bluest Eye as 4 out of 5, not for minors. I also find books through Book Look by going through alphabetically and just going down the rating system here. When I come to a book that's 3, 4, or 5, I will do a search for that author. So I can just copy Amy Reed, jump into Destiny, paste it in there, and do a search. Now, we don't have any books from Amy Reed in our library, so we don't have. Beautiful. When you do find a book, especially if you're looking by title, I'd recommend that you also get the author for that book and do a search by author. For example, this Sarah J. Maas. We had a dozen books in the Cameron School District by, oh, we're down to 6. They've pulled books. It wasn't reported. I wonder why. I'll get into that later. Anyway, there are currently 6 books by Sarah Maas that are in the Cameron School District. This one has already been reviewed and they've placed a parental restriction on it. A parent has to approve this book because of the sexually explicit content that is in it. But once you have a list of books by an author that you know to be problematic, let's look for Queen of Shadows and see if it's on Book Look. So go to Q, Queen of Shadows, Sarah Maas. They rate it as a 3. So this is a book that I would challenge. Now, before you can challenge it, depending upon your school district's policy, you need to be able to outline why you have a problem with it. So if you go in there to the PDF, it is going to show you once again the content that Book Looks found problematic, and they're going to give you the page number. And you can go in and you can read the content and you can decide if that's something that you want to challenge. Recommendation for you is to search for graphic novels in your library. We have found that there are a lot of these books that have sexually explicit pictures that are being added to them. A lot of the, well, I won't even say a lot. Some of the comic books are getting to show rape. They're getting to show sex acts. They're showing nudity in these comic books. Well, graphic novels, but you know what I mean. If you have, for example, there are 174 graphic novels that are in the Cameron High School Library. You can, in the state of Missouri, submit a sunshine law request to the state to inspect these documents. Call it a document. It's a book. They will present the books to you somewhere within the school property. You can sit down and you can go through it. Familiarize yourself, if you're in Missouri, with Missouri Statute 573550, and as you're thumbing through the pictures, look for the books that are outlined in that statute. All right, folks, there you go. I wish you good luck. Actually, I don't wish you good luck. I hope that you don't find any of these, but I'm afraid that you're going to.